All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for jumping on today. So today's Wednesday, the 21st of September. And this is just our small team, little team training just for us. So we can just cover off like the important stuff, I guess, that's happening for everyone and questions that they're having. And just recurring questions, I guess, or struggles that we're hearing come up. So we're just taking advantage of it just being us and just able to cover those things. So if you've, as I said before, if you've got any questions along the way, just pop it in the chat, or if you wanted to add something, take yourself off mute. But we've just got a few little things to cover off first, and then I can go through any questions that you have. So I thought today we might focus on where to find things in the groups and to find yourself around the groups, because I know it can be quite overwhelming, I guess, in the beginning to know where things are at. So kind of here to help give you a bit of guidance to find those things. And we're also going to have a quick look at the 5 high-paying activities, so our DMO, and one of the ones that comes up quite regularly is following up, and how to follow up, how many times, how to do that without being awkward or feel like you're being pushy, because I know that's quite a common one for everyone in the beginning. Also 3-ways and how to utilize 3-ways and the scripts. So that's basically what we're going to cover today, and then any questions that come up as well. So what I thought I might do to start off is share my screen so we can have a look at the groups and the important stuff in the groups. So I'm just going to click share screen. Usually this works out okay. Let's see if it happens today. Okay, let me try again.
Kate, you might need to spotlight you as well, so that when you share your screen, it's bigger for everyone. Otherwise, on gallery view, it might be a bit small.
Sweet. Okay, I'll spotlight me, and then we'll try this share screen. It worked last time. Let me see if it works now. Can you guys see my screen now? My Facebook screen?
It's just said it started screen sharing. Yep, it's up now.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so this is my Facebook, and I guess everyone's is going to look different. But I'm just going to show you our main team group. So we've got Team Freedom, which you should all be a part of. And if you're not a part of Team Freedom, just reach out to your support crew or your upline and just make sure you get added to Team Freedom. So that's our team under our NMD Lorien. And so a lot of the really useful information is in there. You'll see there's a pin post there, and it says, you'll see on my screen, it's just a little bit slow while I'm sharing, but you'll see how it says start here. And there's a video that you can watch, which is our game plan chat, I guess, which really helps all new team members get started really strong. So you can go and watch that video there. And then you can also click on continue reading on that pin post. And when you do that, it's going to expand the list. And there's a load of links in there that are really, really useful. It also talks about important Zooms that are on that help with training, and new team member Zooms on a Wednesday night at 8:30. It's also got all of the really key videos to watch when you're getting started. So there you can find them all there in the pin post when you click continue reading. So as you can see, you just scroll down, it's in sections. So if you go there and have a look through that when you have time, that's really useful. The other important area of our groups is the files. So when you're up the top of a group, like this Team Freedom, and you click on files, you'll go to another page that actually has documents that you can download. So, you know, you can download these to your laptop or to your tablet. And the really important ones, I think, when you're getting started are the starter modules. So there's Starter Guide Module 1, 2, 3, and 4. So working your way through those in the beginning is really like the blueprint of how to get your business started strong. The other really useful document is the scripts and marketing. I can't emphasize how much of a lifesaver that is, and it's pretty much my Bible in any conversations that I have, whether it be new customer inquiries or business inquiries. I pretty much copy and paste word for word out of the scripts and marketing. Obviously, I add a little bit of my own personal story in there, but I pretty much use it word for word, and I have to say it works. Now, when I say it works, it doesn't mean that it gets a result every time or an outcome, but it works in terms of building a rapport, creating the interest, and then getting to find out if this is actually for that person or not, rather than the lead just going dead altogether. So I'm not saying it's successful every time, because the products and the business aren't for everyone, but I can tell you I successfully get to the end of whether it is for them or not. So I can't emphasize how much those scripts and marketing, that document really works, and to utilize that. The other really useful thing too is your first 2 weeks of post example. So if you're not really I guess, comfortable with posting on Facebook and what to post, and struggle with creativity, this really is like a blueprint of your first 2 weeks and how to vary it up, and have a little bit of your journey with Juice Plus in both the products and the business, and lifestyle, and also just your regular life. So it just doesn't, your Juice Plus, your Facebook feed just doesn't all of a sudden turn to Juice Plus only as soon as you get started. So it's a really nice way to progressively start sharing your story on Facebook without it spamming everyone, basically. So I think they're probably the really important things. But as you go along in your journey, I think it's always good to come back to the Files tab and explore more. You definitely don't need to read all of these and do all of these straight away. But certainly those key ones in getting started, the modules, the starter guide module, and also the scripts and marketing and your first 2 weeks of posts are probably all you need when you're getting started. We also have Team Freestyle, which is obviously Adam Westwick's team. And a lot of these documents are copied and repeated in the other group, but sometimes you might find a little bit more. But I think the main thing is don't get overwhelmed in the beginning, and also for the leaders too, to help your team in the beginning, just find those key documents just to get started, and progressively, people can go back and look and take on more when they're ready. But you certainly don't need to take it all on in the beginning. So that's really our team Facebook page. And obviously we've got Team Ignite, which I don't have a lot of information on there because I don't want to overwhelm people. I think we'll go back to Team Freedom and Team Freestyle for our information at the moment. And whereas Team Ignite is just an opportunity for us to share our team only events and things that are happening for us, so that we can have another, communication area, I guess. So I will just, I think while I've still got the share screen on, I might go to my virtual office and I'm just trying to get to that. So yeah, just going to go to my virtual office as well and just help, especially for newbies, looking at your virtual office and what to look for. So probably the most important thing when you're new and you have access to your virtual office is when you want to lodge, you want to do your first customer order, you go to My Customers, and in My Customers, that's where you can submit either a Juice Plus order or the Child Health Study order. So if you've got a customer who wants to take advantage of the free child's product, and just reminding that can be either on the premium blend, which is the fruit, veggies and berries, or it can be just on the fruit and veggie only order. People can access a free child's product, and in the free child's product you can pick either the chews or the fruit and veg capsules. So if they're an older child, say pre-teens up to 18, they might prefer the capsules. You can definitely get the capsules for older children in that child health study. So to do the child health study order, it does need to be done separately as a child health study order. And if they're getting complete as well, or they're getting other products that aren't associated to the child health study, that's then done as a Juice Plus order. So just so that you know, there's two separate areas to order. The other important thing to do too when you're getting started and you're looking towards reaching DBF and SDBF is to keep a tally of the customer orders that you're doing, so you know what point value that they work out to be in terms of your promotions. But you can also run an order analysis, which is just down here. And in the order analysis, when you go into that, you can actually select the dates that you want to do the order analysis from. So in here you can choose the order type, and usually we just go down to all types for fast tracking, and then you can pick the dates for the orders between off the calendar. So usually I like to set it back to before a team member starts. So say you started in August, for example, I just set it back to the 1st of August. Regardless of what date you started, it's obviously only going to show the orders that you do have in August. And then you can pick up to today's date. And then you just go down the bottom and click Show Report. And that's going to show you all the orders that you've done in that time period and give you your PVC amount. So that will help you calculate how you're going towards DBF and SDBF. And you can run those at any time. So that's really important for people when they get started. The other area, or the last area that I'll touch on, is also my personal file. And one of the things to do when you get started is to, set up your own website, URL. So after you have conversations with customers and they might want more information, say like on the research and so forth, you actually can set up your own website URL, and you can send them a link to that. And I definitely wouldn't be sending out that link until after the conversation, until after you know exactly what information they do need, and then you can send exactly the information that they're looking for, rather than just sending them a link and not really knowing what they're after. So that's a virtual office. So I'm just going to see if I can stop sharing. Stop share, come back. All right. So did anyone have any questions on that before we move on? Let's just chuck it back to gallery view so I can see everyone. No questions? Okay, cool. So I thought the next thing that we might cover is like the high paying activities. So what are the high paying activities? And I guess like the number one high paying activity is talking to people, right? So starting new conversations. And, starting a new conversation can be anything from, when you're out and about, you might, meet someone new in a cafe, or dropping your kids off, or having a chat to your hairdresser, or anything like that is starting a new conversation. And it doesn't always have to be that conversation will immediately go to talking about Juice Plus, either the products or the business opportunity, but just that you've started a conversation, and you can just keep that going, and that can go onto your grid. So, and it's all really about, when talking to people, is just asking them lots of questions about them to find out, is there any pain there in terms of their health or their wealth. So, we've got a great amount of resources on questions to ask and conversation starters, and you can chat to your upline about getting access to those if you're struggling to find conversation starters or questions to ask. But really, finding out about how they are, their health, how their family is, and also too about, how's life, how's work, all that sort of stuff, and just asking, just keep asking questions and keep that conversation going. And if they ask about you, then you can share what you've recently started. So, share your story of Juice Plus and, this amazing online health program that you've started and you've noticed these great results, or the new business that you've started and how you're loving it and how it's fitting in with life. You get an opportunity to share about you. Don't say too much, just share a little, and then they'll come back and ask you more. But really, I guess in the beginning, when you're having those conversations, I know what worked for me was I'd screenshot that and I would share it with Lorian, and Lorian would help guide me through those conversations in the beginning. Now we have the scripts and marketing document that really does help you step by step in the conversation. But if you feel like you're getting stuck and you're not quite sure what to say, then I would definitely screenshot it and send it to my support team and ask them for guidance, so that, I can move through that and until it becomes natural, I guess. And so that's basically talking to people, right? And wherever you can, recording that. So we like to use our 30 by 30 grid. So I don't know if you guys have checked that out yet, but that's just a copy of it there. I think we all got it in our starter guide, but there's also these in the files as well, and I think it's even in your virtual office. So I just like to record down the conversations that I have, and each square represents a conversation. So if I'm starting 3 new conversations a day, I'll be filling out 3 squares. And then I can record, if they became a customer, if it's a definite no, if they're interested in the business. And so I can go back and I can follow up. So that's talking to people. Number 2 is sharing. So, and we like to, most of us now are on Facebook, and we can share our journey and our story on Facebook. So again, getting back to those, first 2 weeks of posts, we also have a group of Juice Plus post ideas for Team Freedom, where lots of the leaders put up posts that are working for them. But really, sometimes I think the best thing to do is to follow the people that are doing really well in the business and follow your upline and look at what they're doing. And really, don't copy and paste. Try and make it your own, and add your own personality to it, or your own story, or insert your own family, insert your own photos. But it just gives you kind of ideas, I guess, on how to post and share. The third high-paying activity is events and training. So I know for me, attending training every single week has been really key in my success, because I knew from the beginning that this business was definitely not natural for me. So there were a lot of skills that I needed to learn, and there were lots of people that went before me, right? Adam and Kira and Lorian, that were doing really well, so they were able to share what they'd done. And now we have, such an amazingly big team that Adam gets a lot of different people on to share their journey as well. So we're learning all the time from new leaders, not necessarily in our team, but sideline teams that are doing really well. And every week I always get, more insights and more ideas. And, that's really, how I've been able to grow each and every week, is by plugging into training. The other thing too is I've always attended events. So definitely in the beginning I wasn't hosting a Zoom, but I was attending at least one Zoom a week. And I'm fortunate enough to be on the Gold Coast, where, the majority of our freestyle team and our team spirit is. So I was always attending one live event a week. I definitely understand that not everyone has that ability where you are either in Australia or in the world to attend a live event. But we do have so many Zooms on in our team, in Team Freestyle, Freedom, Team Spirit, that there's definitely an opportunity to connect into at least a Zoom once or twice a week. So that's really key as well, because the thing is sometimes, obviously we can't always get people on, or in, prospects onto a Zoom. We might be sending recordings because the time doesn't work. It's still important for us to get on, because what it's going to do, what it's done for me, is basically given me, that inspiration each and every week to hear from the stories of either, the product stories, because there are so many amazing stories of what the products in the program have done for people with their health. And and also to the business stories, to hear the different stories about people that are doing really, really well. I can see Hayley's been on 3 Zoom meetings today. You're a trooper, Hayley. I definitely don't advise everyone go and do 3 Zooms a day, because that would just take over your life. But hey, if you're, I think, Hayley, if you're really keen and you really want to, immerse yourself, then as you can tell, 3 a day. There are so many on in all the different teams that really can pick a time that suits you, that fits in with your day and your life. So that's awesome. But yeah, it just gives you that constant inspiration of people's stories. So, I know definitely over this 16 or more months that I've been in, I've had my highs and lows. But by plugging into those events every week, on those low weeks, I've drawn that inspiration from someone else's story. And I've gone, wow, that's amazing. If they can do it, I can do it. I want to change my life like they did. And I think everyone has different people that resonates with them. I know, for me, Anthony and Kate Gollet, every time I heard Kate Gollet speak, and she's under Linda Everdeen, every time I heard her speak, it just sort of cut through. And she was just the story that got to me the most. So I always drew a lot of inspiration from her story, and everyone's different. And that's the great thing about, how big our team is and how much, different personalities and different walks of life we have. And, the other thing too is we have so much success as well. So that's really cool to get inspiration from other people's success. So that's events and training.
Kate, I was going to say as well, something I think that's really, it helps having those events on a weekly basis is we're all going to go through a point in our business, whether it be on, an hour a day or, maybe it's once a month, but at some point you do cross over with some neg ferrets. And for the newbies on here, neg ferrets are those people that like to take good things from your life and make you feel shit. But I think where events really come into my life and why I get so much out of them, even if it's just a recording or a live event that I jumped on, for me, it's that positivity that sort of changes your mindset, and it can, in an instant take you out of something that you were thinking about or out of a conversation that you had throughout the day and go, yeah, you know what? No, this is why I'm doing this. And it just sort of keeps you involved in the community. And I think it's really powerful to have that in your daily routine or in your week for something to look forward to when you are having those tough weeks as well. But also giving back, because you never know when your story might actually resonate with someone else, and because of you, they never gave up as well. So definitely, I find events really key to building success in your business, whether you're sharing or just listening, either way.
Yeah, so true, Nat. I totally agree. Sometimes, and I think like one of the sayings that I heard is sometimes you need the event and other times the event needs you. So you may not have anybody on there or, anyone tuning in, but it doesn't mean that the event doesn't need you or that you need the event to hear that story, to get that inspiration. Because we definitely do all have highs and lows. I totally agree. And loads of neg ferrets around out there to sabotage you in what you're trying to achieve. So yeah, plugging into events and training is super important. And, sometimes, if you can't make it live, you can watch a recording. That's the other awesome part about our business. Something might come up in your life, but hey, the recording's going to go up and you can watch it later when it fits in. And I guess the other high paying activity is, probably the most critical, customer care. And without our customers, we really wouldn't have a business. So, Juice Plus is awesome in the fact that it sends you emails on when to check in on your customers, and it even gives you suggested questions if you're not sure in the beginning what to ask and what to say. So, look out for those emails, make a note of your customers. I know I print off my customer and my customer genealogy report that I get printed every Monday. I actually print that off, not every week, but once a month at least, so that I've got my customers in front of me and I know who they are, but I'm reminded of them to check in with them. So I think, checking in on your customers is really important, and looking out for those emails and just following it as a guide in the beginning until, you work out your own customer care routine. But I think it's really important to have that constant contact with your customers, and you don't have to annoy the hell out of them, but just love and care on them, share value, add value. I know I've had customers that hated cooking, for example, and they were really freaked out about the JBT program because, they don't like cooking and they prefer packet stuff. But whenever I saw a really easy recipe that was like 6 ingredients and super simple, I'd share it with them. Just thought of you because this is such an easy recipe. I know your family loves seafood and you'd love this, and send it to them. And then that way, kind of like for this customer in particular, sorry, it got them over their fear of cooking, going, oh, that's a recipe I could actually do because I really hate cooking and that's actually simple. So just things like that, in knowing, you obviously know your customers, so add value every now and again when you think about it or you see it and think of them. And it just shows them that you didn't just want to sell them a product and get them in a program and leave them alone, that you actually do care about them and you want to look after them throughout that journey, so that, when it does come back to reshipment time, that you haven't just started them 4 months ago and then checked in 4 months later and said, oh, you ready for your shipment? And they're like, well, I didn't hear from you in between and I've forgotten to take that. I've got heaps in the cupboard. No, I don't want my next one. That's generally what tends to happen when we don't have good customer care. So if you need help with customer care, definitely chat to your support crew, your upline, and just get ideas from them. We also have information in our files section of our team on customer care, and there's information in the virtual office as well if you need help with customer care. The other thing I wanted to touch on was following up. So I know this is one that's been coming up with lots of people on, someone showed an interest and they're not really coming back to me. I can see they've read the message, but they haven't responded. How many times should I go and follow up? So I guess, for me, it's always been, I like to follow up at least 3 times. And generally, when I'm following up, if they have seen my message and they haven't responded, a couple of days later, 24 to 48 hours later, I'll just say, hey, hon, not sure if you saw my message. I just wanted to check if whether it was I sent them a link to an event, I'd say, just wanted to see if you watched that link yet, and just love to hear what you liked best about it. So it's just kind of a reminder of, don't know if you saw the message or not, but I'm just checking in again. And then I just do that a couple of times. And then on the third time, what I normally say is, look, I didn't get into this business to annoy anyone or pester anyone. I simply just want to follow up because you showed an interest. If it's not for you, that's totally fine. Let me know. And, I don't want to hassle you, but I just wanted to check back in with you because, you showed an interest and I didn't want to forget about you. So then on that last one, that's what I say, just so they know that I'm actually just following up because they inquired and I don't want to forget about them, and letting them off the hook. Let me know if it's not for you. That's totally fine. I'm not here to pester or annoy anyone. But yeah, generally for me, it's 3 times. And on that third message, that's what I say. I don't know if any of the other leaders want to jump off mute and add anything there about how they do it, what they say, what works for them when people don't get back.
I use a bit of a trick, Kate.
Yeah.
It's a little bit sneaky, but not really. If you have someone, because sometimes I've found that too with people, people just get busy and, they'll see the message and they'll be on the go and they forget to reply or whatever. So what I do is, if I've messaged them a few times and I can see, like especially on Messenger, that they've seen the message but they haven't replied, I'll either send them a text message, so I'll go a different type of communication or way that they can get a message. And I'll just say to them, sorry, like, I'm not sure if you got my message. I had to, haven't been getting all my messages, or I had to start again on my app because my phone was playing up. So I'm not sure, if you got back to me or not. So, and just follow it up that way. And that tends to be like on the third time that I've tried to follow them up if I haven't heard back. And then that, if there's still kind of if they leave that, I just leave it. And then, if they approach me later, I might approach them, some time later, but I kind of go to 3 strikes or 3 chances and then, move on. But that third time too, if you're not getting a response, just say, look, I'm not sure if you're getting my messages, but I've had to start again, and I don't want to forget you. Same thing, like I just want to do the right thing by you. And most of the time they'll get back to you and say, oh yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm interested, or I need some more information. I've just been really busy. And if they're not, either they won't reply or they'll say, oh no, sorry for wasting your time. It kind of gets more of a definite answer, and they get the gist that, you don't want to waste your time or theirs.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good sneaky trick. I've never used that. I'll have to try it.
It works.
Move to another communication mode and say, oh, sorry, my phone's not working, or my messenger's not working. That's a good one. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think that's pretty much everything that we had on our list today. And as I said, I don't want to spend too long on this team training, but I'm more than happy if anyone wants to come off mute now and just ask any questions or chuck it up in the chat about sort of anything that's, that they've got a burning question to answer or chat about now while we're all together. Anyone?
I think probably the biggest thing I just I suppose to comment on is just with 3 ways and how impact they had, Kate, and how important it is to utilise those.
Yeah, I didn't talk about that one, so I'll chat about that now. I guess one thing that we've noticed coming up in our team is like the underutilization, I guess, of 3 ways. So if you're a new teamie and you're trying to connect with customers, because this is a teaching business, in the beginning we didn't know ourselves how to share the products and the program with customers. I certainly did it in the beginning, and I utilized Lorian to help me in that. And so what I would do is I would go through the conversations either on Messenger or text message, and because it's people coming with interest off my Facebook posts, so I'd take the conversation to a certain point when they'd want to know more information. Then I would say, look, because I'm so new to it and I don't really know everything about it yet, do you mind if my personal trainer, because he was my personal trainer at the time, Lorian, jumps on the phone too? So generally I've basically told them that I'm new and I don't know everything, and he's going to help answer their questions. And most times it's fine. There's sometimes people are afraid of it and they won't do it, and that's fine. But generally most times they understand. When you say, I'm new, I don't know everything, do you mind if my friend who's been doing it longer, who knows a lot more about the program, jumps on the call and helps answer your questions? Then they're kind of like, okay. And really, when you actually do the 3-way with your upline, you see how we actually share the benefits of the program and the products specifically to the person that we're talking to. So it's not just a scripted sales pitch that we give to everyone. It's actually, we talk to the person, we get to know them, what they're after, what they're interested in, what it is specifically that they need, and then we target the way we talk about the product and the program to suit them, rather than just a generalized spiel and sell. It's more a personalized conversation. And so by doing a 3-way, you actually get to introduce your support crew. For me, it was Lorian, who was my personal trainer. But for you guys, you know, it might be your friend that introduced you to it. So you say, this is my friend who shared the product and program with me. She's been doing it for 6 months and knows a lot more about it than me. Do you mind if she jumps on as well and helps answer your questions? And generally I put that in after I've set up the call. So I get my prospect to confirm a time for a call. And then I'll say, once we've confirmed, I'll say that then. Do you mind if I get my friend who's been doing it for 6 months to jump on the call with me and help answer your questions? And I can tell you that if they're really serious, they'll say yes. But if they were never really serious in the beginning, or they're completely scared off by it, they'll say no. And that's okay. Like, this isn't for everybody, I guess. And the ones that get scared off quite easily were the ones that weren't really committed in the first place. So don't feel like that the 3-way won't work if one person is scared off by it, because it actually does work. You know, 90% of the people, when they realize that your friend or whoever it is going to jump on to answer questions and help out, they're not fearful of it. They're actually just there to help, and that you yourself don't know everything. And that's the best part. We don't have to be an expert. I'm certainly not. I don't have a personal training background. I don't have a health background. So for me to know what I was talking about in the beginning was completely awkward. But to have Lorian on the call and just listen, and I really just got to listen to what he did. I took notes, and I did that probably for my first 6 customer calls until one day he wasn't available, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it myself now. But I knew the questions that he asked. I knew how, because I'd listened and I'd taken notes, that I just followed that same process. And then obviously when I got to the position of having team, I then started doing that for my team so they could learn the same thing. So that's really the 3-way. And the other powerful part of a 3-way is that person gets to share their story as well, because your prospects heard from you and how it's helped you. But when you bring on a third person that has another story as well, it adds weight to the validation that our programs and our products work. So it's more than just your own story, it's another person's story. And sometimes, you know, definitely for people that are closest to us, hearing it from another source is even more powerful than just hearing it from you. So that's another really key thing about 3-ways. The other time to utilize 3-ways is also for business prospects. So, you know, when I have a team member or a prospect that has watched an event and I'm following up with them, we've also got information too. If you're at that stage and you need to know how to follow up after an event, we've got information in the system to do that. So we can share that with you. Just reach out to us. And there's a few key questions that we ask and build the rapport. And then when it gets to the point where they want to get started, then I ask them, do you mind if I start a 3-way chat with my mentor in the business? And then we can chat about getting you started. And so, you know, they give me the permission to do that. I start a 3-way chat, and then we set up a time to connect them with my support team, which for me is Lorian. And for you guys, it's whoever your upline is, or if they're not available, the next person, because we're all here to help one another. And so then again, I kind of get myself out of the way in that call, and I introduce Lorian and my prospect, and then I let Lorian, do the work, and then he hands it back over to me. So, and again, the power of the 3-way when you're talking to a business prospect is that they actually get to talk to someone other than you and see that there is a bigger team, that there is more support than just that one person. And again, it's another story. So I've shared my story of, you know, what the business has done for me, what I've been able to achieve. And then Lorian gets to come on and share his story as well and what he's achieved. And again, it's another story. So it's another person sharing their experience, which adds more weight and more validation to the, the opportunity that we have and how it can actually work. So that's really powerful. And I think I don't do 3-way customer calls anymore because, I've done that enough now. I can do that myself, but I still do 3-way prospect calls after they've watched an event. And I always connect them with my upline. So if you're not connecting your prospect with your upline, I kind of wonder why, because it's a teaching business. We're actually here to help you and teach you. We're also here to help and support your team. And we can't do that. We can't support you and we can't support your team if we haven't been introduced. So I think that's the power of the 3-way. I don't know if anyone's got any questions or wants to add anything. Take yourself off mute.
I was just going to say, Kate, with the 3-ways as well, for me, I found that it actually meant, because I tried, of course, everyone when they start out, I'm sure just goes, no, I'm just going to have to hack it myself. It's fine. But one of the things that I found was that by using the 3-ways was that my friends would still talk to me immediately afterwards. So even if it was a no, I think something that was really valuable was that because I hadn't tried to fumble through and pretend to be the expert, it left them feeling that, I really did care enough just to go, you know what, I'm not the right person to answer these questions for you. I've got someone here that can help and support me do that. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. That's okay. We'll just continue our normal chat that we do on a daily basis. Whereas ones that I kind of tried to do myself, it didn't end up terribly well.
It can feel a bit awkward, right?
Yeah.
Especially
next time you talk to them, they think that you're only going to talk to them about Juice Plus.
Yeah, definitely. And that's another key point too that you raised, Nat, is like always putting the relationship first. I think regardless of what the outcome is of the customer or the business prospect, if a no's a no, then that's fine. You always put the relationship first and love and care about them, and still, share and add value, but you don't have to continue to pester them about Juice Plus. I know obviously Nat is a massive example of that. She said no to the products and the business in the beginning when I shared it with her, but 6 months on, I didn't pester her for 6 months. I left her alone and I shared with her the value that I knew would help her. And just by sharing recipes and ideas, and obviously she was watching my journey on Facebook, that after 6 months, she finally came back to me and said, I might want to take another look now. But I didn't pester her for 6 months. I just loved and cared about her and shared things that I thought would be valuable without constantly saying, hey, what about Juice Plus? Hey, what about Juice Plus? Hey, what about Juice Plus? Otherwise, she would have just gone, hey, see you later. You're annoying the shit out of me. Leave me alone. So I think that's the way to really put the relationship first and actually care about the person and what is actually going to help them, and not just what you're going to get out of it.
There's a great question up in the chat from Hayley as well.
Okay. So how do you ask for the order? I have about 4 people that said they would buy until I sent the pricing. Now they're going to get back to me. So I guess my question, Hayley, I'm not sure if you're able to chat, but did you do all of the conversation over Messenger, or did you take any of the conversations to phone calls?
No, they were all over Messenger.
Okay. So I think probably one thing that I would say there is that depending on your audience, and everyone's different, some people will only talk over Messenger and don't want to have a phone call, and that's fine. But other people actually find it works better to have a phone call. And the reason I have a phone call rather than sharing the pricing over Messenger is that I can actually ask them questions about what's going on for them. And so that sort of comes back to the 3-way in learning how we actually ask about people, how's their health, what benefits are they looking for? What do they want to get out of it? What's been going on for them? What's their diet? What's their lifestyle like? A lot of the phone call is actually all about that. And definitely you can do that over Messenger. And I have done that over Messenger, and some people prefer to communicate with me over Messenger. But then there are a lot of people that don't, that you can't build a rapport with over Messenger like you can over the phone. So have you tried any three-way calls, Hayley?
Yes, I did one with Jess and we got the order. So
Awesome. Okay, so you can see how that really does work.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I think, I definitely, when they're asking for more information in your conversation, that's the time then to offer them the phone call and say, hey, look, I found the best way to explain the products and the program, the benefits of the products and the program is to actually chat on the phone. Are you available tomorrow morning or tomorrow night? Like, pick two times, because I think if they understand that, this is the best way to talk about it and share it, and you give them two times, they're going to come back to you and say, oh, no, I don't want a phone call. Then you can keep the conversation going over Messenger if you have to. Otherwise, you can then move to a phone call and then set up the time and then introduce your upline like Jess and say, hey, once you've set up the time, then say, hey, do you mind if my friend Jess jumps on? She's been doing it for X amount of months, and she knows a lot more about the benefits of the products and the program than I do and can help answer your questions. And certainly for me, in most cases, everyone has said, yeah, that's fine. And they jump on the call and you get to learn, the verbiage of how to share the products in the program and how to ask those questions, your customers. But, on the same token, if you've got people that don't want the phone call, you can actually ask if it's okay if you add them into a group message and do it over Messenger with your support team. That's definitely another opportunity if someone is really adverse to getting on the phone, because there's plenty of people out there that do have phone phobia. And so you can definitely do a three-way Messenger chat. I'd certainly say that does work for some people that don't like the phone, but I will always offer the phone call first before I send pricing over Messenger.
Yeah, okay.
The biggest thing too is that they're going to see the price before they even know what the value is in the JBT program, the whole support group and all the files that they have access to, and they have access to that for life. Like, that is the massive value that we give our customers. And then also to the free choose. When you send the pricing, sometimes they don't get the fact that they get the free choose or the free capsules for kids. They just see a price and they don't see any of the value. So I think that's probably what I would suggest there. Does anyone else have any other questions before we finish up? Oh, awesome. Everyone's got thumbs up. All right, well, I might end the recording there.